On Larry King Now, the legendary Pam Grier.
Fast forward to Bless This Mess. I took my Spanx off for them. So I had a little badonkadonk going, you know, and I did my chores. I go to the tractor, I was raking, so I smelled the part, and I got in the car with my leather gloves in my pocket, and I walked into the corporate offices of the studio.
Plus,
what woman am I going to be? Am I going to be the one that marries someone else for their career and their money and fame? Or am I going to provide for myself and be the woman I need to grow into?
All next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now. I'm Tom Green, filling in for Larry. Today, I'm happy to welcome the amazing Pam Grier to the show. Pam was a staple of 70s cinema in films such as The Big Birdcage, Foxy Brown, Sheba Baby, and Coffee. And she's perhaps best known for her role as Jackie Brown in Quentin Tarantino's Jackie Brown. Pam is currently starring as Constance in the ABC series Bless This Mess, opposite Dax Shepard and Lake Bell. The second season is currently airing on ABC. Pam, so great to meet you and get to talk to you today.
Thank you. Yeah. I don't have anything to say.
Nothing to say. Yeah, we were talking a lot before the show started.
That was just a joke, but I'm bummed. And also Ed Begley Jr. is in the show with us, and he plays the soon-to-be paramour, my soon-to-be, boyfriend in the show, and
cool.
he's wonderful. Ed Begley.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Come on now.
Yeah. So you've had such an incredible career, such an amazing career. Do you sometimes say to yourself, "Wow, I mean, is it an incredible ride for you?"
It's extraordinary.
Yeah.
I'm really one of those people who everyone thought I was just urban, but my background is military, urban, and rural. And so I learned equilibrium. And there are times where, am I an actor because of celebrity and money, or are you an actor because of the passion of craft? What happened was, I was just trying to get into school, and there weren't any film schools. There were 4 film schools in the country at that time when I graduated in '67.
Yeah.
NYU, Northwestern, UCLA, and USC. There was nothing in Colorado, and I grew up in Colorado, Wyoming. My family's from the Black West, so I kind of felt grounded and safe there. But I loved movies. My first movie was Godzilla, the rubber tail bouncing back and forth and eating people in taxi cars in Japanese, cities. Yeah. And Spin and Marty, and Sky King and Penny, all the great shows on TV. And that's what I wanted to do. Tell stories, be about all these incredible people. And I could see Julia, and I could see one of the greatest movies of all time were the Boris Karloff, Cary Grant, all these great movies. And where did it come from? They're telling great stories, and they reach people. We sat and were mesmerized by all these different cultures. And I said, that's what I want to do, and film it, tell the story on film. And so I was working 3 jobs, going to Metro State University, and my psychology professor said, Pam, what do you really want to do? You're here after you have 3 jobs, you take the bus in a storm. What do you really want to do? Because you're putting yourself through school. I said, I want to be a doctor, but, for family, and they say I'll be a good doctor, prestige, but and he says, well, you're doing it for other people. Why don't you do what you want to do since you're paying for your way? He said, what do you really? I said, I love movies. I love TV. I love that. And he says, well, you have to go to film school. What's that? Yeah. That's how archaic 67 was. What's that for me? So you have to probably go to California, and there's film schools. He said, I'll look it up. I'll get the information for you, and you just transfer. To where? Well, I have to go, transfer. And long story, I transferred, and it was so expensive in Los Angeles. My aunt and I drove down Sunset Boulevard, past UCLA, to mansions, palm trees, green. It was like, where am I? Yeah. How am I going to do this? How am I going to afford this? And I remember going to the UCLA campus, and it was Black Panther Student Union, marching Vietnam, just like this just wonderful energy on campus. And I said, yeah, I got to try to stay here.
When you were doing the Blaxploitation movies, first of all, the name Blaxploitation, what's the meaning of that word?
It's a black film for black audience.
Yeah, yeah.
And exploitation is guns, profanity, a little nudity in this. And so that was a marketing word invented by two black advertising executives at AIP, American International Pictures, that distributed my films. And before I had done my films, Jim Brown, Fred Williamson had done like 20 films, and they didn't call them exploitation. But when a woman did it, and she used her guile, her feminine guile, then, oh, the woman is being exploited. And I said, no, I'm taking care of myself. We do this back home. We don't know what you do in the city, but back home, we stop the madness, and we have a different vibe when we come from the country. Like I was telling you, I have to change my carburetors and fuel pumps by myself.
Yeah.
You know, because I can't be stranded in a snowstorm when the vet has to get to my horses in the barn. So I have to do a lot of stuff myself.
That's amazing. I want to talk to you about that too. What's your favorite movie from the 70s era movies that you did?
Oh, that I did?
Yeah, yeah.
Goodness. Well, I would think Coffee was the first one, but Black Mama, White Mama was my first comedy. And it was the takeoff of the Tony Curtis and Sidney Poitier film, The Defiant Ones, but we did more of the comedic version. And I had moments of comedic just outbursts in the place, just from no makeup, a tattered robe. And so fast forward to Bless This Mess. I've passed on a lot of derivative roles, and I could have done it for, you know, my insurance, for my pension, and I didn't need it. I wanted to work, but I said, not fond of this. I won't fit. It's not a good fit. And then Lake Bell called and heard that Pam Grier lives on a farm, a ranch. She's around. This is a show about the migration of youngins, slitty slickers moving back to the heartland, which people go to the heartland to find their hearts. They've lost it along the way. And I know that because my friends come and stay and like reshed and revitalize and find themselves there when they come and visit me and say, you really are living in. There's a bear running across and a mountain lion and turkeys coming in the house and they're going. I said, yeah, it's comfortable, it keeps me sharp. I just don't want to do anything that makes fun of the heartland.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about Bless This Mess after the break and living on a ranch with Pam Grier. We'll be talking about her returning to Hollywood and starring in the sitcom Bless This Mess right after the break. Plus, your quiet life on the farm and why you love it so much. We're here with Pam Grier, and you're watching Larry King Now. Welcome back to Larry King Now. I'm Tom Green, in for Larry, and my guest is Pam Grier. Pam, so you live on a ranch in Colorado. You've been living there for how many years? How many years have you lived there?
Well, this particular place, 26 years, and another place, you know, I've never been able to live here. All the jobs are on location.
Yeah.
So I just, you know, in a snowstorm, jump in the truck and write my tires off, you know. Live in hotels and guest houses of friends, and for 53 years, you know. So but I learn. I get to meet people on the road. I get to, you know, get in touch with things as opposed to fly over things and the cities and cultures and it's my equilibrium. I like to see the horizon. My well is pure crystal water. The dirt's different. There's animals everywhere, and they can come in the house if we have a tornado.
Oh, yeah.
I have a walkout where it's underground. Just hang out by the pool table. You know, I got laminate, so you know, the pee and the poop is easy to clean out.
Okay, yeah. I did a prank like that on my parents once.
That's a prank? No, it's real life.
I filled my parents' house with farm animals
Oh,
once.
no, you didn't.
It was in the suburbs, and there was no
No,
laminate
oh,
floor.
yeah, oh, yeah. That was a prank. I would have kicked your butt.
So, but this,
Okay.
yeah, well, I think we filmed them kicking my butt too. But this is enough about me, though. Yeah, so this must be a great preparation for your role in Bless This Mess, though, because this is about Dak Shepard and Lake Bell move out to the country
from New York City.
Yeah.
And when Lake called, she had heard that, you know, well, Pam lives what we're writing about. And as you know, being a professional, and you work for time and, you know, your inheritance and your insurance and everything, and like, okay, you don't have a script. You don't have, so I don't know how to help you be successful, and you could change it, and I may not like it, but I committed, and I don't want to do it, and now I look like a bad person. So call me back when you get something written, because I don't know how to help you. And if you're writing it about the Heartland, I don't want you to make fun of the Heartland.
Right.
So I said, well, if you just show me something, write something. I said, okay, here's the, okay, we're going to fly you here, and we'd love for you to sit down with us and tell us what you do, what you've done. And I said, my family's from the Black West. My great-great-grandmother was a sugar beet farmer. You know, she drove, you know, buck horses with 2 team horses, and she was a hotel owner for the blacks and Chinese that worked on the railroad. You know, so, and this is not in history books. Yeah. You know, this is like, and they go, I said, Pam, please. I said, okay, I'll come, but I'll come after I do my chores. Yeah. So I took my Spanx off for them. So I had a little badonkadonk going, you know, and I did my chores. I go to the tractor, I was raking, so I smelled the part, and I got in the car with my leather gloves in my pocket, and I walked into the corporate offices of the studio, and there I was, early, on time. That's what country folk do. We always show up an hour early. It drives everybody crazy, which they have in the show, by the way. Damn those early people. And they were saying, that kind of looks like Pam Grier. And we're not used to seeing her look that. It's, you know, dresses and short and heels and platforms. Sure. But it was like, no, my boots, my leather. And they said, yeah, hey. So we had a lovely talk, and so when you take your Spanx off of somebody and you tell them about, well, if you come after my cow with a knife and fork, you got a problem, okay? These are real, the whole show is wrapped around a reality that is so funny. Yeah. It is, you don't realize what you go through, what it takes to have chickens, to have eggs, pure, clean
You have chickens?
Eggs.
At your ranch, you have chickens? You have... what animals do you have?
I don't know. They just kind of wander. Horses, dogs, and turkeys, and there's a goat, and there's stud mini, and then there's yeah, I love them all. But anyway.
Well, that sounds amazing. We'll go talk after the break a bit more.
Okay.
When we come back, Pam Grier on a film about her life and her thoughts on the Me Too movement. We'll be right back with Pam Grier. Welcome back to Larry King Now. I'm Tom Green, in for Larry, and my guest is Pam Grier. And you were just mentioning, sort of offhand mention, that you put Richard Pryor's horse in the back of your Jaguar.
Yes, it was, at the time we had started to date, and he really wanted to keep me there by having, you know, a rural environment, and he kept saying, I kept going home, do you have somebody back at home? Yeah, a man. Yeah, my grandfather, Daddy Ray, and he was my grounding. And Richard's horse was attacked, and it was not a pony, but it wasn't a mini. It was a mid-size that Bert Sugarman gave to him because he was going to produce Richard Pryor's variety show at NBC. Yeah. And it was attacked by a group of his dogs, and it was, you know, horribly scarred, and I couldn't get him to, we didn't have a horse trailer, didn't have a truck, the vet couldn't come. So I said, okay, Richard, you're in a bathrobe, stop crying. We are putting the horse in the backseat of my Jaguar. Not the Jag! I said, yes, the Jag. Open the doors, we pulled Ginger through, which was named after his Mudbone folklore. Okay. Was Ginger, if you've ever listened to his stories. Okay, yeah. Come on, Ginger. Yeah. So she got in, head sticking out one side, tail out the other, closed the door. Richard's in the front seat, crying in his bathrobe. I'm in, I don't know what I had on. I had a shirt and skirt, kind of barefoot, afro all over the place. And we're zooming down Parthenia to the 405 to get to the vet.
With the horse in the backseat of the Jaguar.
And it created a ruckus.
Yeah.
People were saying, look, there's two black people with a horse in the backseat of a Jag. And so we got there, and the vet said, we're going to be out there. We got to wait. I can't wait to see this. And we saved her life. And I'm always going to save a life. It's just material, you know. And Richard said, you a funny bitch. I said, thank you.
So that's got to be in the, not the biopic.
Yeah, it's going to be in a movie, a film of my life. Like they just finished Eddie Murphy with, you know, Dynamite, and then they've got another one. But the name biopic for some reason is a stigma. It's like it's going to be a television movie, and you can't show graphicness. The gravitas of some of the things that are really in the film, so it won't be television, and it's not a biopic. It's really going to be about a woman who is a child of the 70s, independent movement. Gloria Steinem was my mentor, put me on the cover of Ms. Magazine, and she caught hell for it. It sold out, but she said, no, this is what women should be. This is where Bella Abzug, Shirley Chisholm, Barbara Jordan, the independent thinking woman, may not be married, doesn't mean they're not validated, but she's going to get out there and have to survive and use her wits. And so I use my rural and military and urban skills to survive, to find my equilibrium. And I knew Hollywood was going to try to beat me up. And then my story is about, I'm a poor, starving college student working 3 jobs, and here's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar offering me marriage and to be a basketball player's wife and riches and all of this. I said, no, I need an education. I need a degree. What if you get hurt? How do I take care of you? Yeah, okay. I still need me. I love me, and I need to grow up into me. And that happens to a lot of women even today. And it happened then. And then the next one was with Freddie Prinze, the comedian, and who I met, Jay Leno. They were roommates. Freddie was the one that really wanted to have the eventually movies like Richard Pryor, the show in Las Vegas, to have his one, and the Chico and the Man, and then go back to a rural environment and have that piece that I came from. And he was loving and wonderful. He was so funny. You know, they're doing, Bradley Cooper, I do believe, is producing with his son, Freddie Prinze Jr., his, I'm not going to say biopic. Yeah,
life story.
Life story.
Who would you like to play you in your life story?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Whoever's, you see, I was attacked at 6. I was sexually, horrifically attacked at 6 years old. And again at 18. Before I came, that was when I said, I'm leaving Colorado, I'm going to California, I gotta fight, I'm tired of fighting. I'm not even pretty. I don't even have nice clothes on, and I'm being attacked. So it's not like I'm provocative and enticing someone to attack me. And that was the nature of society and a culture. It's a culture. And I just want to get an education. I'm not, you know, I don't know why they think I'm that, all this, but it's a power trip if you study it and why it happens. And am I going to be a victim, or I'm going to rise up and get out there again? And I come out to California, and there's a 3rd attack, but it didn't happen. This sexuality didn't happen, the rape didn't happen, but I fought off this family friend with a small table and walked back to my 5th job at APA as a receptionist, and shredded, walking down Sunset Boulevard, said, I just need to get out of here. I will take that job that Roger Corman offered me, and I turned down because I wanted to go to school. And so Roger said, I'm offering $600 a week. And I said, I'm making $150 with 5 jobs. I'll take it, but Roger, you can't fire me. I don't know how to act, but I just want to get away. And I took that job to become a woman. I need to find out, what woman am I going to be? Am I going to be the one that marries someone else for their career and their money and fame? Or I'm going to provide for myself and be the woman I need to grow into. And then the 3rd one was Richard Pryor. So I ended up turning down these 3 incredibly successful men, the time of their lives, just to find me. And I said, if I have to live in a ranch of dirt back home and take care of me, so be it. You know, I'm just not looking to be taken care of.
Do you think things have gotten better for young actresses?
Not only actresses, but corporate executives and young lawyers. Yes, they're not looking to be married to be valued. It's a younger youth area, the millennials or the generation X, Y, and Z. they're not all looking to marry to buy a house. They get their degree, their asset-based credit cards. They want to find themselves to be able to provide. And I remember getting my doctorate in humanities and some of my lectures about women being independent. And okay, if your father and brother did not support you and vote for equal pay and rights and everything, and now you have to take care of them with 70% of the dollar, you're like, you didn't care about me? Okay, I'll make you the sandwich, but there won't be any meat in it. I'll fix your behind. And that has been the conversation of Dad, Grandpa, you want me to take care of you with 70%. If you had voted for women, I'd be able to take care of you maybe 100% or more. So I'm just letting you know that's all you're going to get. So rethinking conversation for people to understand logic. That's all.
In our final segment, Pam will be back to answer your social media questions, and you can currently see her in ABC's Bless This Mess on ABC. Thanks, Pam. Welcome back to Larry King Now. I'm Tom Green, in for Larry, and my guest is Pam Grier, and we have social media questions. Do you use social media?
Yes, I do.
You like it?
Yes, I do.
Yeah?
Twitter
Yeah.
and Instagram. And I just found out Facebook. And I'd been on Facebook for a while, but people were kind of wonky and saying that I did things and I'd be penalized and put on parole and like, what? You know,
really?
so I didn't like that. That's straightened out, so it's okay now. It's good to go. I like social media because it allows people to, even if they're wrong or even if they're, have some medical issues, they aren't isolated. And you can hit nerves with them. And they feel like they can be uplifted, learn something they haven't learned because of their environment, which is marginal or could be falsely marginal. We don't know. But it gives them a chance to make more choices. I can't say good, bad, or ugly, but it's interesting.
Yes, absolutely. On Twitter, Droogie4E. Nice to have you watching, Droogie. Sid Haig tragically passed away recently. Are there any fond memories of him that you can share from the films
absolutely.
that you did together?
Sid was on my first film that I did for tuition and to get away from chaos in the States. And he is a classically trained, a really eloquent actor. And I was singing gospel because I was in a gospel group in Denver called Echoes of Youth, and half of Earth, Wind, and Fire is in it. Philip Bailey, Andrew Woolfolk, Larry Dunn. And so I was singing gospel, vocalizing, and really doing some nice gospel. And he was singing along. He said, I like that. That's gospel. I said, yeah. And he says, you're going to be all right. That's how you vocalize. And that's how it calmed me down. So Sid helped me. He was my mentor.
Right.
And it was wonderful. And yes, I did cry. Yes, I was sad. And I've seen him at a couple of Comic Cons, and we'd have dinner and lunch and just talk about the good old days. And he was very, very, very special.
Lindsay Palmer on the Larry King Now blog asks, when is your life story film going to come out?
We haven't started yet. Reason being, we've had financiers, people who are going to back the film, but you have to have an actor who's available. You have to have a director who's available. That is a scheduling nightmare to find out, because not all actresses can be able to play what I endured because they've encountered it in their own lives. There's roles that I can't do because I've been attacked, that would have an attack scene. I can't do it. So maybe there's some actresses who haven't been attacked who could play me and be, hopefully not scarred for life, but may not be able to do it. And we've got a list. Benny Richburg wrote the screenplay based on the book. He was a showrunner and writer for Fresh Prince for 5 years, Martin for 5, Jamie Foxx's show. And he really did what Quentin did, the female side of the brain he wrote from. And he spent time with me, seeing me with deer and bucks and all the things that were happening on the ranch, and asking questions. What did you eat? What are the clothes? What is the music? So he was so detailed. The script is just brilliant. So we just need to find an anchor. I'm hoping an Idris Elba can play my grandfather, who was the first feminist in my life, who taught all of us girls how to hunt and fish and shoot and be self-sufficient. And if you are, you'll still be feminine. You won't lose that, but it'll create a confidence in your husband that he knows that while he's away, you can take care of yourself. So Idris has that soulfulness, and so does Eddie Murphy, and so does Will Smith. And so we're okay, here's Daddy Ray, who's going to play John Gaines, and I'm looking at Bradley Cooper, who's my fairy gay mother. John Gaines was the agent at AP who had me after they signed me after 5 movies. They said, oh, she's fantastic.
Maybe Quentin Tarantino to direct it?
He doesn't direct other projects that he doesn't write.
Oh, yeah.
So that I know about him, and I also know that about David O. Russell, who I was going to work with.
Maybe it'd be a first for him. You could talk him into it.
No, there's no. Yeah, what are you trying to do? Break up our friendship? We're calm now. He's married and he's great, and he's trying to do his 10th film, and and so we're strong for each other, and we support each other. He's like a muse, but that's what it is. And once we land on 2 or 3 people, then it's gelling.
Heidi McQueen on the Larry King Now blog asks, what's it like behind the scenes of Bless This Mess? Looks like it would be a fun environment.
It is.
I'm sure Dax Shepard must be hilarious all the time.
Dax is brilliant. I've never laughed so hard. And Lake, those two together, the energy, and they're also discovering themselves and what goes on, and it's hilarious. I'm learning from them. I can now say, maybe rethinking dating again, because I'm learning from these, learning from all these couples in the show. And they are funny, and it's real, and they're real. And I'm so glad that I met with them, and they said, this is what we're going to bring, Pam. And I brought my clothes, I took off my Spanx, and when I said, I smelled the part, so Dax said, so that's what I was smelling. And you're going to smell like that too here. So we have that camaraderie. It is hilarious. And our table reads are out of control. Yeah. We just like throw in stuff, David Koechner, Lennon Faram, you've got Ed, you've got everybody in there just doing their thing. You would love it, being a stand. You would go in there like,
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming to talk to me today, Pam. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you to my guest, Pam Grier. You can currently see her in ABC's Bless This Mess, alongside Lake Bell and Dax Shepard. And thanks to Larry for having me fill in for him today. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
Oh, next time. All right.